This is traveling as a pro audio salesman. When I was doing the Pro Tools stuff, I would have a Pro Tools rig and I would load it into a little Astro van that I had, or my Fiero, which was even tinier. I had to take the seat out to put it in there. And anybody who wanted to see a demo of this thing, I would run it out there, which didn't always mean that it was a sale. It just meant there was a demo. And my job was to keep getting the word out there about the system. So this was like the early 90s. So I would drive back and forth from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh a bunch of times, almost every other week, because there was a lot of business in Pittsburgh. I called the local big radio station there, WDVE, out of the blue, cold call, asked them if they were interested in Pro Tools. And they said, yeah, bring it over. We'd love to see it. So I took it over there, met the head of engineering, Lou Galzerano, and I showed him the system. And then he said, okay, we'd like to get a system in here for a weekend and go through it, put it completely through its paces and see what we can do. And on Monday, we'll tell you what we're going to order. And I took a system over there, and I spent the whole weekend with them. They had, I think their engineer his name was Brian, and they did a bunch of commercials and all that kind of stuff. And anything that they didn't understand, I talked them through it. And on Monday, sure enough, I think they ordered like 3 or 4 systems. And this is when they were just the 4-track systems, and they were like $5,000 each or so. But I would travel back and forth to Pittsburgh, got more business in Pittsburgh. But then I had somebody in Erie Erie, Pennsylvania, and there's no direct way from Philadelphia to Erie, so I have to drive up to Erie. And there was somebody in Columbus, Ohio. I had to drive all the way out to Columbus, Ohio, and set up the system. The guy never bought anything, but he just wanted to see it working. And then I would drive down to Virginia Beach, showing people how the system worked. And I would drive down to Richmond, Virginia, and then drive over to Charlottesville. So it was driving everywhere. And this is before cell phones for me, so all I had was a beeper. And I would call home and tell my wife what exit I was at, or what Sparrow pizza place I was at, so she just had it in her mind where I was at. But it wasn't all glamorous selling Pro Tools in the early days. You had to run it all over the place to show it. And I did it as a rep for DigiDesign, because I worked for them for a couple of years. But before that, as a DigiDesign dealer, which nobody was paying my expenses. I was doing it all by myself. And it was a lot of work, a lot of questions. But I laid the groundwork to get the business later, which it exploded, and it did very well. But wanted to kind of talk about traveling as a pro audio salesman. So it wasn't as glamorous, all a little minivan or my little Fiero. Working for DigiDesign, they would fly me around, but still a lot of work.